In today's episode of EU4, I'll be playing as England with the goal of forming Great Britain and creating a nation with an incredibly strong economy. To achieve this, I'll focus on developing the provinces in the British Isles, leveraging a few key missions selected at the right moments. I'll also use a clever trick involving government reforms that will guarantee rulers with 666 stats and very late reforms. Additionally, to keep this from being just another conquer everything campaign, I won't be taking any territory for myself in Europe. Sure, I can create some vassals here, but that's it. I'll be honest, my main goal is to dominate trade in the English Channel. On top of that, this might be a campaign that beginner players can follow, so I highly recommend watching this episode. And if it's your first time seeing this game, this is the episode for you to watch. Of course, I'll be playing on Iron Man mode. Welcome Imperialists, Lucas here. England's situation at the start isn't great, but it's not too problematic either. We've got a terrible king, but fortunately I'll get rid of him quickly due to the War of the Roses. An inevitable war with France is looming, but I'll avoid it. Specifically, I'll loot Maine for some quick profit and sell it to Provence. I won't complete that mission yet, I don't need it for now. For rivals, I choose Scotland and Denmark. Wait, France isn't available as a rival? If I'd known, I could have sold land to France instead, benefiting more. Ultimately, France will become my rival anyway. Estate privileges. I start by granting certain privileges to estates, mainly to remove the English village privilege. The best way to do this is to seize land now and aim to get the remaining 5% from Parliament. We'll see if I can do this. I don't have a debate going on yet. Debates change monthly. I recruit additional troops solely to trigger an estate agenda for a better military advisor at a 50% discount. Once that's done, I disband the extra troops. I hire a cheaper administrative advisor named John and a cheaper diplomatic John. Completing a specific mission will then grant me a discounted military advisor. I lack lords in parliament, so it's best to assign them to provinces with high-value trade goods. Cloth provinces are perfect at the start. For naval doctrine, I choose trade power for trade ships. I lower army maintenance and dismantle forts on the continent. I ally Austria but avoid a royal marriage. My second ally is Aragon, but again, no royal marriage. Avoiding royal marriages is crucial because they increase the chance of an heir. If an heir appears, the War of the Roses won't trigger. I also skip an alliance with Castile since I plan to attack them later. I switch my court focus to military one. I still have room for one more alliance, so I form it with the Papal States. This will be useful at least until I switch religions. Oh, and I send my trade fleet to the English Channel. The rest of my navy is mothballed for now. The land from the parliament probably won't show up for me, but I have a very strong debate for government reforms. I'm taking it convincing the cheapest parliament members. When an heir is born, despite everything, pause the game. In my case, I lacked prestige, so I take that privilege. And we pretend the heir never existed. If you unpause, that progress would reset, and that's very bad. I also bought the indulgence of sins from the Pope, as it increases my papal influence. Besides, this influence grows the better our relations with the Pope are, and I just improved them. Civil war. Finally, I've waited so long. In this case, it's simple. We choose the better of the heirs, that is the one with more points. In my case, it's probably this one. 12 in total, compared to 9. Edward, the new King of England. Since when do you lose manpower here? Regarding the rebels, I'll recruit a mercenary company, as they have a pretty good general. England has no professionalism anyway. Perfect, the timing for this tournament is ideal. It gives great bonuses, although I'd prefer its standard version. Now then, to end this civil war, we need to crush the rebel armies a few times. It's best to do this when they head for that fortress. Perfect! I send troops in such a way that the mercenary forces arrive first. Second in line is one of my manpower-based armies. Without much trouble, I crush the pretenders. They appeared in Calais due to Burgundian intervention. I won't forget this Brandenburg. The first army ceases to exist, but it's not over yet. The pretender hasn't fled, so I'll need a transport fleet. Has something been simplified in the Wars of the Roses? I didn't get the event for a returning rival claimant to the throne. They always returned with another army. Now, there was only one. I won a bit too quickly. I wanted to raise stability earlier. Oh well, I'll do it another way. The event for the rise of the Tudor dynasty happens very quickly. And okay, this heir isn't the best, but if I bring the Tudors to the throne, remember that in the age of absolutism, we'll have Elizabeth 666. So it's probably worth it. As you can see, the civil war itself went really smoothly, so now I'm raising stability to +1 again, and then I complete the mission for the Wars of the Roses, which reduces aggressive expansion for the entire era. I mean, the age of discovery, it would accumulate massively for England. -10% here, plus espionage ideas. Also becoming the Pope, but that's an idea for another episode. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see one. The first government reform. For me, there are really two choices, taxes or fast government reforms. I'll go for taxes because the first era is all about extracting as much tax as possible from your subjects. Unfortunately, all my Johns have died. 5 years have passed, so now I can reclaim land again. Suppress the burgher uprisings because I forgot about those and remove this useless privilege. Finally, I can grant all those privileges that give me the right kind of monarchy points. In fact, I'm even selling off the remaining land. Now I complete the mission for the formation of the English army. This gives me territorial claims over all of Ireland and Scotland, and I immediately attack all of Ireland. There will be no problems here, honestly. Boom, bam, and so on, a dozen times. And basically almost all of Ireland is at war with me and I'll conquer it shortly. Oh no, the lowly heresy. Since I want Anglicanism to appear as quickly as possible, unfortunately, I'll allow it. I choose the other option if I wanted the Age of Discovery to last as long as possible. As for conquering Ireland, I make peace with each country separately because I'm incredibly greedy and want those extra ducats. I probably won't loot their capitals. After conquering Ireland, I transport the main army back to the English mainland. I ask Aragon and Portugal to prepare for war, then with the help of my allies, I attack Scotland. I hope such an advantage will be enough to bring down France. Note, I made a mistake here. I should have declared war over that province because it has the highest war score cost. A province that is the main target of your attack costs only half the war score, then I could have conquered all of Scotland in one war. Fortunately, I'm also at war with this Irish duchy. Instead of conquering it now, I'll make a white peace. Now I call Portugal into the war. Not sure why I couldn't before, but now I can. Probably some secret mechanic, I don't know. Finally, the Renaissance has appeared. After breaking through, the Scottish army ceases to exist. Wow, the Scots built a second fortress here. I didn't expect that. And I'll tell you, I thought this advantage would be enough to crush France, but unfortunately not. France destroys all my allies' armies, all because France adopted the 4th level of military technology. So I send my army into battle, especially since I just unlocked the 5th level, which gives me even better units. Unfortunately, the prolonged war negatively affects the autonomy here. I expected it to be high, just not this high. Oh well, as long as it doesn't exceed 20%, yes, autonomy rises so quickly because I have a very low level of crown land. And I'm at war. I knew the French would bait themselves on low morale, but the advantage in pips makes a difference. Pips are those dots by unit types, and it looks like breaking the French army once was enough for my allies to start doing something in this war. Meanwhile, I siege Paris. After Paris falls, I launch attacks on every front, just like my allies. From France, in the peace deal, I take war reparations, break their alliance with the Scots, and humiliate the country. Instead of humiliation, I could have taken 400 gold, but why would I need that realistically? I'm England, I'll have money. Wow, what a massacre the French made. From the Scots, I conquer literally everything except the capital. I'll take that next year. In the meantime, I loot Scottish provinces, because why not? This boosts the introduction of institutions and I won't have to waste monarchy points. These are the ones at the top. My crown land has risen to almost 10%. An additional 5% will come from the parliament and a debate there. I'll reclaim another 5% of land. And from a mission, I get another 5%. I forgot about that. I don't core the territory from Scotland because after less than a year, my truce with the Irish duchy ends and I attack it immediately. Oh, and Austria drags me into a war over Hungary. Since I always hold Poland dear to my heart, I won't send troops here. I also developed the province of Co to 15 development. It has glass, so I'm hoping for a specific event. After a moment, I finish the war with the Irish duchy and also conquer Scotland in the process. Could this have been done faster? Of course. If you try, you can conquer all this within the first 5 years of the game. But why bother? Now I just make peace with Poland. It'll worsen my relations with the Emperor, but I don't care. From the conquered Scottish territories, I release Scotland for a very simple reason. Scotland is grateful for this, so it's now a very loyal vassal. If I had done this in one war, I'd also have less aggressive expansion than vassalizing all of Scotland. Since I'm exceeding diplomatic relations, I end my alliance with Portugal. Okay, now I need to reduce autonomy everywhere because it's killing my country internally. This will quickly fix England's economy and I'll handle those uprisings easily enough. Alright, the islands are secured, France has been humiliated in the war, so the next good step would be to deal with Burgundy. Specifically, I need to make them stop seeing me as a rival. That's why I'll declare war on them, which won't be easy because Burgundy also has military tech level 5. An alliance with Savoy might come in handy here since Burgundy also sees them as a rival. As for missions, I'll complete only the one related to Scotland, not the one for Ireland. I'll offer the Norwegians to buy that worthless piece of land. Luckily they agreed. Radical reforms. Good, I can get rid of my advisors. But first, I'll fire them myself. Nothing beats free points. Using money from cheap loans, I embrace the institution and proceed with the mission path that essentially involves completing this mission path. Great, I got face-sitting, or feasting if you prefer, and this event gives me some really powerful trade modifiers in the province that enacted it. I unlock Administrative Tech 5. Now comes a very important moment, choosing ideas. Most of you would probably pick exploration and expansion ideas right away as England, but I personally like to choose them as the third and fourth on this country. For starters, I recommend aristocratic ideas, which you can later combine with bonuses from infrastructure. Third, government reform. At this stage there's nothing better for me than regional councils, and I issue tax edicts everywhere. Literally everywhere I enforce these taxes. This does wonders for England. First stage ability, reduced aggressive expansion or a combat bonus on capital territory. I'll go with reduced aggressive expansion. I send claims on Picardy and with the help of allies attack Burgundy. What luck I have, my white company commander changed and gained a +2 siege bonus. Oh, the first battle happened somewhere. Of course, the Irish took advantage of the moment and a rebellion broke out in Ireland. It's been crushed, but in the future, Scotland can deal with it. I must admit my plan worked. Savoy valiantly distracts Burgundy's troops from my main army, and Burgundy has ended their war with Savoy, with that sealing their fate and allowing me to remove the rivalry. I'll even take some money from them, not too much. I won't prolong this war because I don't want Burgundy to collapse. Oh yes, from hate to love, there's only one step. We were at war moments ago, and now I'm arranging a royal marriage with the Burgundians, which gives me a chance to inherit their entire territory for free. I didn't really have a way to cut off their relations, especially their marriage with the Palatinate. At most, I could strip them of an alliance, but this event revolves around the royal marriage. Savoy is no longer needed, so I welcome my new Moroccan ally. Yes, it's time for the Spaniards. Soon after, I managed to secure an alliance with the Burgundians. Good. Money from the wars is first spent on building churches, then on workshops. Of course, I first took church taxes to reduce construction costs. I sent claims on that province and attacked Spain. Oh, they attacked Aragon. I'll intervene to win this battle. Beautiful, it worked. Spain is a dangerous opponent early on, with many morale bonuses from missions, yet somehow I have higher morale. What? After workshops, I start building marketplaces, but only in provinces with trade bonuses. I can't believe Castile did this. I just can't. I have a chance to cut off their entire army in Morocco. Unfortunately, Castile withdrew from Morocco and destroyed my army, which had to fortify Granada. Clever, though somehow the Spaniards suffered much greater losses here. Meanwhile, as I waged recreational wars in France and Spain, I was also developing my provinces. Of course, I first switched my tax edicts to development edicts and focused on improving provinces, mostly using diplomatic points early on. This slight delay in technology greatly boosts your economy, especially for future production and trade. I take money from the Portuguese, as I said, I can't conquer anything here. I'll take money and reparations from the Spaniards plus Gibraltar. Let's keep role-playing. This war funds the expansion of the English fleet up to 10 heavy ships, and it's time for a war with France, which holds one of my provinces. They need to return it. I call on allies for this war because France could still give me a hard time at this stage, but after this I'll likely handle them solo. Oh no, an opportunity. I can't let this pass, can I? I can't back away from such a chance. The Aragonese-Castilian Union happened not through an event, but through the death of the Castilian ruler. And you know what? I won't let this pass. Since I'm a rival of Castile and share a border with them, I can intervene in this union. This is too powerful. I must claim Castile for myself. Though I'm in no rush with this war, let's focus on France first. Are you kidding me? I just inherited Burgundy? No one will believe this was on the first try without saves coming. No one. From France, I take only one province, as I said, and as much money as possible. 151 ducats. Too bad, I want to bankrupt the French so they'll dismantle their many fortresses. After the war with France, I turn to the Spaniards. My war goal is Toledo, so I head straight there. GG, well played. It happened again. The entire armies of my opponents are in Morocco. Well, you know what? I'm not even inclined to finish this war myself. Oh no, the Emperor demands my lowlands. All of Burgundy is mine. I'm not giving up anything. This was supposed to be a peaceful campaign. What went wrong? To speed up the war, I'll storm forts in Aragon. Oh no, I won't let Savoy retake that fortress. Definitely not. The funniest part is that the Burgundians fell back and are handling the entire Austrian army themselves. Or maybe it's the Pope getting wrecked, one of the two. I establish a union over Castile, take war reparations from Aragon, and immediately rush to save Burgundy's capital. I also start improving relations with Spain immediately. I need them to reach +1 because I forgot that my king is very old. He could die at any moment. I send Castile money. I take loans from the burghers just to pay off all of Castile's debt. Oh, this only reduced Liberty Desire. Oh no, I must have confused this with Influence Nation. Or with taking debt, but I can't take debt from my own union, unfortunately. Alright, I'll manage to push back the Austrians here. Seriously? Gibraltar got that event? I can't believe this. Prosperity times for Gibraltar. And now I'll let the Castilians besiege Vienna. I welcome Byzantine refugees and a major heresy just broke out. Oh great! I'll show you raiding my rich London lands. Oh, I will! I end the war with Austria by taking war reparations and lots of money. I won't end their union over Hungary. I'm curious how that country will manage further in this campaign. I must say I'm earning quite a lot from war reparations and other sources. Not bad at all. Another revolt. Alright, it doesn't change the fact that it's messing with my plans a bit because I wanted to farm both France and Castile for money, and now I'm not sure which country to attack instead of Spain, though I have some ideas. Alright, I need to adjust my plans. Since France is the only target left to attack for money, I'll unfortunately have to sell my land. I was planning to go for a significant number of crown lands to enact as many reforms as possible before starting territorial conquests in the New World or Africa. I inherited Burgundy. There's just one problem. As I mentioned, I don't want to keep any territories that didn't originally belong to me at the start of the game. It would feel too overpowered. So I'm releasing Burgundy again as my vassal. Normally it's not worth doing, really not worth it. Now my first priority is to secure the loyalty of my new vassal, and my old one too. Boosting favors and trust between our nations will definitely help with this. Oh no. I hadn't checked earlier, but I see now that Castile is going for colonization, so I'll probably have to support them financially later. Interesting, I didn't even know England has this event, and yes, there it is, although it takes a long time to occur. Oh well, I'll take that king, a pleasant surprise, especially since he arrived at a very good moment. Oh no, my ruler is 72 years old, and the new one starts at 0. Oh no. I'm upgrading all my trade centers now, first to the second level. In fact, I'll also upgrade those of my vassals, especially since they're already transferring trade power to me in the English Channel. I upgraded the port in London to level 3. Remember, this gives a development bonus to all 4 provinces in the area. York will be next as soon as its development level hits 25. I can finally complete the mission to unite England, which reduces the cost of my ideas for the rest of the game, if only I had prestige left. But I spent all my prestige to secure Burgundy. Perfect mission for prestige though, fantastic. And sadly my ruler has died. Unfortunately this means a regency with a very weak queen, but the heir is excellent. I'll use his reign to develop England significantly. I'll focus even more on development now, especially since I'm finishing my ideas. Colonialism has appeared in Spain, so I'll adopt it quickly too. I can't believe I'm attacking France again for prestige, I can't believe I'm doing this. But it's all to complete the Globe Theatre mission. Fantastic. The Protestant Reformation has also appeared in Milan. I won't convert to Protestantism, I'll wait for Anglicanism. Although now I honestly need to lose a war because I forgot Anglicanism won't spawn while I'm Defender of the Faith. To get rid of this title, I'm attacking Brittany, and while I'm at it, I'll loot France again. Finally, Henry York has ascended to the throne. His reign began with a victory in France and a defeat in Brittany, where I had to pay reparations. This cost me the Defender of the Faith title. Now I need to focus on hiring cheaper advisors and upgrading them to level 5. I'm already working on one. I also need to accumulate as many points as possible. Alright, it's 1506 and here's the current state of England. I'm curious to see how powerful this country will become if I focus solely on development. Will it truly become the Green Isle? We'll see. I've got my advisors, accumulated points, and the current era is ending, so it's time for England's golden age. This is also the moment to start completing all my missions. Ending the 100 Years' War, choosing the path to Great Britain, gives me further reductions in development costs. Another mission doesn't give me much, but leads to rural development in England. I might gain some territorial claims along the way. I'm also wrapping up the matter of Ireland, boosting production on the islands for 15 years and passing the Act of Irish Unification, which gave me nothing. Where's my development bonus for Ireland? Oh, it must have triggered automatically in the test game earlier. But now, look, every province in Ireland gets +1 production. And now I face a choice, either release Ireland and form a personal union, which is weak but gives me an extra diplomatic relations slot for the rest of the game, or receive a development bonus in those provinces for 25 years. I'm also activating development bonuses in every single province, and things are looking good overall. Development costs are 5, 5, 5, 8, 10. For development, I'm first pushing all provinces to level 15, similar to what I did in Japan. I'm aiming for level 15 to later boost to 20 or 30 using expand infrastructure beforehand, but then I'll cancel it because I'll have huge governing capacity issues. Oh no, heresy in England! I've reached administrative tech level 10, so I'm passing the Act of Union to become Great Britain, adopting its traditions and ambitions. They're much better than England's. Along the way, I inherited the Scottish throne. Continuing down this path gives me 5% local development cost reduction and lowers autonomy across the British region. Honestly, with all these modifiers stacked, developing 15 level provinces is incredibly cheap. I also forgot to worsen relations with the papacy earlier. Since I'm waiting for Anglicanism to spawn, adopting a decision that worsens relations with the Pope increases my chances of it appearing. Of course, I'm still waging recreational wars with France. Eventually, I annoyed the Pope enough to make the announcement. Oh, and the opponents actually have an army. I've also expanded the British Navy, allowing me to build some of the most powerful warships in the game. Finally, after 15 years, I can establish establish the new church. Now I can either take 2000 gold or gain a conversion center, which I want, though it's more expensive than I expected. It might even lead to a religious war, which wouldn't be ideal for me. What does England have now? To be honest, I haven't played with Anglicanism for a while, but it seems decent. I've also reached the 6th level of government reforms, which is super important because it lets me show you a trick for guaranteed 666 rulers. First though, I'll upgrade Stonehenge to reduce stability costs. I'm also dismissing cheaper advisors. I've even managed to place a Polish ruler on the throne. Now Poland and I share a dynasty, though they're not exactly thrilled about it. Back to the trick for 666 rulers. I've lowered stability costs somewhat, and now I'll switch to a republic, or rather eventually to a republic. I choose reforms that strengthen rulers or reduce stability costs. Once the election event occurs, I pick my current ruler. At this point, I'll get a 666 ruler. Beautiful, isn't it? Next, I need at least +2 stability points. Then I switch back to a monarchy. The key is not to adopt the English monarchy, as it grants parliamentarism, which I want to acquire in another way. I skip the 6th reform this time. Hire a diplomatic advisor, preferably this one here. Soon, you'll get an event to restore the constitution, granting parliamentarism for free. It even gives you 1 stability point, interesting, and a free 6th level reform. This saves a ton of reform progress points. You can repeat this process several times until the final government reform. I still want to finish this reform with England and this one too. I must admit that an extra 1000 gold every few months is incredibly useful when playing as England. At this point, I've built up the entire country with manufactories, production buildings, churches only where they were profitable, and essential manpower buildings as well as structures to increase my army capacity. Basically, I have all the key buildings and even some less critical ones. I'll also start a war for Kybris, which is Cyprus. Why not? In the Mediterranean, having such forward bases might come in handy. This should be an easy war since my heavy ships have already blocked the entire Ottoman war fleet in Adana. After 45 years of development, Great Britain has truly become a green island. The lowest development level in Great Britain is 15, even in the most expensive provinces. The highest development level reaches 41, with many provinces in the 30s and plenty in the 26 range. Thanks to this, I'm earning almost 400 gold per month as England, with a clean surplus of over 200. I can afford a standing army of 200,000 troops and 200 ships. My manpower recovery rate is 2,500 per month, which is still modest, but for a simple reason. I don't yet have manufactories designed for manpower boosts, which I'll unlock in 3 more tech levels. Meanwhile, in the Holy Roman Empire, the Religious League War has started, and I think I know which side France will join. The best part of this development spree is that I've gathered so many modifiers for development efficiency that I could now develop Burgundy and Castile very cheaply. Take a look. 10, 13, 18 points. It's incredibly cheap. You're storming the Ottomans' lands and suddenly rebellions erupt in the same province. I quickly capture Constantinople and claim 2 islands as staging grounds for future attacks on the Mamluks, along with a hefty sum of money and war reparations. At this stage of the game, my next step with England would be establishing powerful colonies in North America. I see Central America is still untouched, so I'd conquer that as well. In South America, I'd take over Portuguese territories, and Africa is completely untapped. Oh, how much I'd conquer there, it's incredible! And all of this even before heading to India. Let me know in the comments if you want me to focus on colonization. Leave a comment saying, Lucas colonize, and I'll pin a heart to it. If there are enough comments and say 2000 likes on this video, I'll make a second part of this Great Britain campaign. In anticipation of this, I recommend watching this episode of Historical Poland, in which I play from the date 1607. My goal will be to place a Polish puppet on the Russian throne, which historically really happened, and the future of Europe could have turned out differently from that moment on.